Heavy wooden doors, more than twice your height, stand shut in front of you. The rectangular sea-worn ornamentation appears in stark contrast to the padlock. This cheap-looking padlock is sturdily built. It shackles together a hasp, and it'll be easier to break the staple than the lock. Also, that sticker is interesting, somehow. You see a yellow circle with 2 X's and a big curve below them that looks like a mouth. You're pretty sure there is something blindingly modern about this symbol. Its modernness puts to shame everything you've seen before. He takes off his glasses and uses a blue handkerchief to thoroughly wipe.
No. Looks like a dead man smiling. Suggests junior delinquency. I haven't seen that sticker before, and I'm not a youth. That level of conceptual thinking is not part of my skill set.
There's nothing like the sound of a sticker unpeeling. Now it's stuck to your thumb. Looks like today was a gold star day. The carving on the door is block-like and angular, like the church itself. 2 large beams. The surface is smooth from the wind, but feels exceptional. 300 tons of pine would fit together. The lock turns easily. You hear a click.
Let's go.
A great whoosh of air rushes into the dark innards in the heart of the city. The silence in this part of the church, it's almost palpable. All the shifting matter and shuffling of living. Maybe if you were to stand in just the right spot, even your footsteps would be completely silent. And then it's gone. Almost all of it. It seems the sound here is detached from its source somehow. You can hardly hear your own breathing. Your voice is barely audible. Not a howl, but the softest of whimpers. You produce a few muffled thumps, after which the silence feels even more total. The lieutenant points to his ears and shakes his head. Then he leans close.
Can you hear anything? The church just has strange acoustics, some engineering trick.
Maybe the church was designed this way to prevent boisterous activity, singing and dancing on its premises. He doesn't seem entirely convinced, though. The orderly rows of ceiling panels become barely visible, then disappear completely in the darkness of the tower overhead. It's like there's something moving up there. A shadow has emerged from the tower and it's making its way toward you through all the other shadows. Yes, the darkness makes the ceiling feel infinitely far away. It's not a shadow anymore, becoming more substantial as it gets closer.
Officer, is there something up there?
Oh no, you've lost sight of it. Where did it go? You see something hanging from the rafters, looking straight at you with dark eyes. Maybe it's possible to talk to it. The shadow is a man made of the same stuff as the carpentry of the building. He is studying you intently. The man leaned forward a little, fixing you with a steady...
Habitual alcohol use has made you into a scared little pussy, Holmes. But don't worry, everything's gonna be all right.
That accent is Villalobos, a peninsula in Mesque and a district in Jamrock. There's a sizable contingent of Villalobos-speaking Mesques in Revachol.
Here you can receive the mother's love. And when you're ready,
This man is obviously a habitual narcotics user. Do we really need to question him?
Hey, and what was that about the bottle again? You haven't even drank that much lately. Lay off it already. Shish.
Oh yeah, sure. You don't know anything about alcohol use. You got it all under control, Way. I could smell the control all the way over here. I know it's hard to admit that you got a problem. I was like you once. Couldn't take it.
You know, actually, since we're here, you may want to pay attention to what the ceiling climber is saying.
Don't trust me. Trust the mother. I'm only the messenger, Holmes. This is the Church of the Mother of Silence. You are welcome here.
You have no idea what the fuck he's taught. Whatever it is, he's quite confident about it. 'Tis not an act, my liege. Save him perchance, he hath deceived his very self. This man is a zealot.
The ones in the tent outside, right? I see him. Think they scared of me. Nah, man. They look pretty funny. And I don't harm no one anymore. Anyway. Why not? They wouldn't bother me none. I'm usually way up there, imbibing. Might even be nice to have some company. Sure did, Holmes. I am, at least in part, Holmes, into the mother's love.
What does he mean, in part?
Haven't you ever met a Mex before? Cabron. Surprising number of us around Rabbit Shop. Not sure I'm contributing to the economy none, Holmes. Glad you're feeling more comfortable. First-timers are always nervous. Oh man, I would love to see that statue. I'm sure I done my share of illegal shit. Used to be in a gang, the whole deal. But even memories of that time are fading. Most of them are already gone. No, man, you gotta let that shit go. Then the mother's light touch will
Do you remember your name, sir?
Tiago's my name. But those syllables don't mean much to me these days. A name isn't just your identity, but also your place amongst your fellas, your place in the world. I ain't got no use for such a place anymore. That's just the thing, Holmes. None of that matters. This is a special place. There's a perforation in the world up there. A way out into I circled it, nurtured by the silence bestowed by the mother. Oh, that's no simple question, Ese. She is a cavity in the dark beyond sense. She saved me, but I couldn't describe her to you. I'm a seraph, Holmes. I sing the mother's glory. I ain't from no Marietti, if that's what you're thinking. And the song I sing...
Marietti is a mesque style of music and dance, commonly seen at all manner of festivities. He lost his cool there for a moment. Seems you hit some nerve.
It's not like that at all, man. It's just...
Too gleeful, those words. He is lying. Not to you, to his very own self.
I heard that before, Way. And I know I can't convince you on the spot. But think, when's the last time you woke up from silent communion with a hangover? She took you for a good spin, huh? Don't worry, bro. That love is but a drop. The mother will eat all of you and never spit you out. No worries, man. I know this shit takes time. I will be incinerated, but not...
That sounds a bit like substitution behavior, no? You know a thing or two about that.
Hard to say. I think I did some construction work here, back when I still had material work. Been spending a lot of time here ever since. The past is nothing to me now, Way. It didn't belong to me. I think it was a long time ago. I had to share it like a skin.
The scarf looks pretty dapper, actually. The sinewy figure lingers on the wooden beams, blending into the shadows.
other spooker? Oh, esa viejita es muy estudiosa.
Viejita is grandma?
No, I just call her viejita because of her clothes. She's actually quite young. Or maybe that's what I said, Holmes. Don't really follow her comings and goings. Just see her typing on her computer now and then. We got different interests. I'm afraid not, Essay. You just have to wait until she comes back.
Or search through her radio computer.
Police raid a while back.
Did you witness it?
Not really. Or at least I don't remember much of it anymore. The mother's love has done its job.
A machine stands in the corner, watched over by the figures on the stained...
A radio computer. And it's turned on. We should leave. I doubt this place bears any connection to the case. A radio computer. We have one down at the station. No, I don't know how to operate it or what it's used for.
This is the Ream Prefect radio computer, a model number RC70. The Ream Prefect is the governmental version of the commonly used Ream Civic model. Although mostly based on the same technology, the Ream Prefect is equipped. You see fluorescent play and print buttons on the keyboard. A hatch connect. The lieutenant says nothing. You see the machine's glowing frame reflected back from his diamond-shaped glasses. Behind the hatch sits a cube-like crisscross of filaments, smoldering in the dark. This is the machine's filament memory. A bar of fabric right above the keyboard starts producing a soft hum. The static gets louder, slowly filling up the abandoned.
Good morning, Fortress Accident on Saint-Brune. This is the East Incident.
This is a human interface. A retired person sitting behind a switch.
The filament you have inserted into the core. I don't know. That's what I'm asking. Is this the personal log? Good. Please repeat.
Let's look around. There's no use trying to guess the answer. Maybe he knows something.
Received. I will register this login. Fortress Accident. Is there anything else I can do for you today? Goodbye.
The machine's keyboard is still illuminated, revealing nothing happens. In white, silver, and apricot faience, the young mother of humanism stands above you. This is her innocence, Dolores Day. Cradled in her arms are a pair of glowing lungs, clearly visible from underneath her flowing dress. You should kneel. Your knees touch the floor. The floorboards are hard and cold. There you kneel among the snowdrifts. Diffuse light. The world is silent, but for the creaks and cracks of the massive wooden, the ocean feels distant, its ebb and flow blocked off. The woman looks down at you kneeling. She towers among her followers, architects, lay. She acknowledges the passing of someone who is still alive. As that useless word passes through your mind, the lieutenant draws an X-shaped. Your fingertips touch your chest 4 times. Then you rise from your knees into the apricot-colored light of the...
The old woman in the village was right. This must be the DeLorean Church of Humanity in Martinez, or the small Pinewood Church in some records. It's a minor landmark, not easy to find. Most maps misplace it. It was built not long after Revachol's founding, 300 or so years ago, by...
On the coast of an uninhabited archipelago where only animals had roamed before.
There used to be 7 staved churches on the coast. Les Sept Sœurs, they call them. The 7 Sisters. Only one remains. The rest, we should be respectful here, although the building appears to be deserted. I do not believe we'll find anything connected to the lynching here. Something else, perhaps?
Respectful? Is the lieutenant a follower of DeLoreanism?
Yes, we all are. Her name, body, and rule are synonymous with humanism. The laws we enforce are DeLorean in origin.
The woman looks by in silence, smiling enigmatic.
It's not spiritual, it's constitutional. The DeLorean system does not demand faith, only accordance.
Despite the damage you've done to yourself, the title appears lodged in your hippocampus. This is her innocence, Dolores Day. The innocence of humanism. No amount of Commodore Red can wipe her sad smile from your brain thing. It has survived the deluge and haunts you still, and will haunt you for the highest category of historic individual, an embodiment of the world's more. An innocence is elected to office by the founding party. A precedent, and innocence is infallible. The decisions made by one are not decisions. They are inevitability. No, we are alone. 300 years ago, in the wake of the discovery of this Isola, the Insulindian, by explorers, many things, you know she was a woman of the court, the wife of an influential Marchese, and eventually the prince. Terribly, women of the court were expected to play both contract bridge and chess sufficiently well. She made the most of her position in the anti-DeLorean court. The court visited, she was an almost preternaturally magnetic and intelligent individual. To her contemporaries, she appeared out of time, a messenger from the... It was on her advice that Irene Le Navigateur sponsored a number of voyages into the Pale. She was crowned 2 years after the first expedition returned. Wow, indeed. When her innocence was declared, and the queen she had advised for years fell on her knees before her, she was so overcome with it. Bystanders reported golden filaments lighting the already sunlit chamber around her, clearly visible beneath. That is why the lungs are the symbol of love for the cultures of the Rial Belt, as did we all. The lands of the Mesk and the Occident, and even far away Supram Windy. Altogether, 21 of the 40 Mundial nations in a city called Advesperaskit in Vesper Messina, her homeland. The name of the city means evening comes. She was dressed in a white and pearl dress on an emptied-out plaza with the crowd far away. Already, her oh yes, she looked like humanity's young mother, a perfect mother, insultingly beautiful. It was as if her face and shoulders and hands. Midwinter snow was beating the cobblestones around her. A small attaché of officials stood by as her Therier, one of the men in this secret service, killed her 22 years later. A young man who had come to suspect that Dolores Day was not entirely human. Something that had walked in our midst, watching us stumble for hundreds, if not thousands of years, until it decided to interfere in the course of our history. Dolores Day was shot in the chest with a fowling piece 8 times. The man, thought to be insane, said he once touched her and her body had been unnaturally warm, like a furnace. And this inhuman quality was witnessed by many others as well, glowing lungs and all. It is commonly attributed to mass hysteria and religious psychology. Terrifying is a term too emotionally charged for your semantic memory. Although she's often considered to be the greatest human being to ever live, there was something ominous about Dolores Day. She was the most socially secluded and least self-aware of all the innocences. Some modern thinkers would consider her a war criminal. For the Mexican state tried to detach itself from innocentic rule. Parts of the world were experiencing whiplash from accelerating into secularism. Her mandatory education programs and mass resettlement of upstream Marguerite, suggesting those who fight against it are not part of humanity. She adored chess, yes, but also military war games. Dolores Day often holds a tiny tin soldier between her index finger and thumb. In icons such as this, little is known of her Marchese husband. It's as if he vanished from history after completing his role, which was to introduce Dolores Day to court. In conclusion, yes, there is something lonely, paranoid, and even terrifying that people seldom mention, but feel when they think of her. This subtle terror is part of her iconography.
Officer, you've stood there for over 5 minutes. What are you thinking of, if I may ask? She's been dead for 300 years. I am almost 1,000% certain she isn't. None of this is, in fact. This church, the coast, this isn't a good place to get lost in.
A jigsaw of broken shards falls into place in front of you, a ghostly reconstruction of the stained glass window. Before it was shattered, there was an older woman beneath the younger one, and a text, a light motif below them both. Unknown. A motor carriage, a gunshot, someone falling into it, or maybe just hooligans looking for something to break. The escutcheon on her throne says, Irene the Navigator. She is depicted as an older woman wearing thick-rimmed eyeglasses. Small figures of wise men, common men. Worshippers walk up the stairs to stand at her feet. Below both women, in luminous black letters, Après la vie, mort. Après la... And then, along the left side, Après le monde, after life, death. After death, life again. After the world, the pale. After the pale, the world again. This is the great leitmotif of humanism, a summary of the effect of the discovery of this Isola, the insolent.
Death, life again. After the world, the pale. After the pale. This exaltation is common in Dolorian sacralism. In the early years, it was even incorporated as the RCM slogan. No more, however. It was deemed subservient to use a strongly moral intern-related motto. Justice, union, prudence, and force. So do I.
The mother of humanism towers above you, a wax painting on a cracked pane of glass. The mother of humanism. The machine's keyboard is still illuminated. The speaker comes to life.
Good morning, votre accident on Saint-Brune. This is the good. Please.
Let's look around. There's no use trying to get... Maybe he knows something.
No.
hint system is not part of the protocol for repeater stations.
Still, no. I am contractually obliged to protect the privacy.
I'm afraid we are not doing that. Unless we want to wait for...
Now, can you please repeat the password? Received. Fortress accident. Is there anything else I can do for you today? The company on whose name the terminal you're currently using. One moment. Fortress accident. SCS.
That's not bad.
Any other questions? Yes, I am alive. I am 74.
She repeats passwords. Programming people are all paranoid.
I work as a repeater at the East Insulindian repeater station. As for me, well, I am sitting in my cubicle, surrounded now. Please tell me if there's anything else I can do for you, Fortress accident. Goodbye.
The machine's keyboard is still... worn by elements, guards the depot. The wind has blown a sand dune in front of it.
It's military. A service depot of some sort. The washerwoman mentioned a depot at the coast. She said it was for moving ammo and cargo across the bay.
It may have been used to service an aerostatic battleship in the atmosphere, or a fortification, like a sea fort in the bay. You rattle the handle a bit, then push on the door with all your weight. It does not.
We don't get in there. Frankly, you're just going to have to accept the fact that you can't get...
No. We've gotten into every door thus far. That's what we do. We open doors. We're cops. That's our perk. Even Everard knew that's a part of our MO.
Yeah, I understand you. I like opening doors as much as the next guy. Relax. No one's hiding in them. If we can't open it, others can't either.
At least you can think about opening it, about doors in general. They are, after all, fundamental to your life. Perhaps something useful will come from this.
It's military. A service depot of some sort. The washerwoman...
It may have been used to serve... A metal payphone under a yellow plastic dome. You could use it to call. You hear the tone. The machine is inoperable. Calling. Still calling. This feels wrong. Should you be doing this? End of tone. Someone picks up.
Pierre? Is that you, Pierre? Do you have any news about Pierre? He's my sister's grandson. He used to visit me as a... But who are you, then? A salesman of some sort? Modern goods are rubbish, and I can't afford them anyhow. It's a shame what you did to our country. To hell with the police! To hell!
Her voice is drowned in white noise. Sound. You get a sinking feeling. It makes you look if Lieutenant Kitsuragi overheard you. To your relief, he did not. Someone has left an unidentifiable article of clothing on this railing. The cloth, if you can still call it that, makes a soft crunching sound. It's streaked with dried seagull shit and tangled with pieces of seaweed. It seems likely that it was left in the surf until someone laid it out on this fence to dry out.
Please tell me you're not taking that with you. It's a guano-encrusted jacket, and you're already carrying around enough as it is.
As you hold it in your hands, it makes an uncomfortable crunching sound. It's a sordid, filthy tale, not for the weak. Some secrets are better left uncovered. Don't even try. It occurs to you that you're not even holding the jacket itself. It smells like a dead sea creature, tangled in grey strands of seaweed. It must have spent quite some time. Why? Why did you think about it? Look at your hands. They're covered in muck. Now you're just flicking that shit everywhere. This is a disaster. As you hold it in your hands, it's probably better.
Here we go. Nice and easy. No way out, little...
There's a cylinder on the ground in which the man is...
Who's there? Oh, the police.
His self-conscious enthusiasm renders his movements ungainly. He looks like...
Is that the police? Why are the police here?
Don't worry, Gary. I'll handle it. To what do I owe the police?
That's sarcasm. He takes no pleasure from your appearance.
Oh, no. It's all right. I'm just busy. What's this about? Of course. Thank you for passing along the message. That damn water lock is broken, and we can't go all the way around the 881.
The 881 is a raised motorway that separates Martinez from Jamrock.
Oh, good. We should really be getting back. Gary...
Did he say we can go back now?
Yes, Gary! We can go soon! If you see Lena...
Sir, your wife is waiting for you.
I just have to do one more round. See if the phasmid has taken the bait.
His hands are large and weather-worn, but also used to delicate, precise work.
Hello, I'm Garrett, Yellow Man. I mean...
The lieutenant raises his eyebrows slightly and takes out Yellow Man. Interesting.
I'm just waiting for my friend Morel to finish up with his insect traps so we can return to civilization. I like nature, just not this bloody coast.
Degenerates, this man respects authority too much. To see the truth inscribed upon thine own visage, pretend thou art a paragon of virtue.
Oh, I've been tempted. But someone has to stay.
He pronounces Revacon with a hard K, unlike other people. The remaining windows rattle from a strong gust of wind. They're covered in a thick, dripping water falls from a high place. There's rust and corrosion on the bars. They're foaming with it. And a small layer.
No, I won't even try. You know, I had a partner once. They called him Eyes, because he had to show me things. It's that bad.
And Mikhail noticed the windows, especially with how there are no windows on the south side. This was to deal with. You officers, come to investigate the historic subtext of West Martinez? I'm Tran Hailostam. You must be Kim Kitsuragi, right? I was...
Nice to meet you.
Oh yes, so Mikhail. They had to deal with monitor glare, especially in the sub. Yes, hypertext, young carp, and the collection of cultural hyperlinks. No, I can't say that we've met before, but I've heard of Kim, of course. Mikhail, say hi to the officers. Mikhail's a little tired today. We spent all night trying to run Orbis on his radio computer. Have you heard of it? It's a programming language.
The man speaks in the artificial cadence of a professor, or someone who's been on too many radios.
But I assume you're not here for giant worms when there are so many real things to see. Just as I was telling Mikhail before, this is where the...
Wow, get a load of this guy. He really enjoys his trivia. The Orbis programming language was named after its inventor, Victor Orbis, a cybernetician from Grad. They run Vox.
Aha! But it's not just any empty old building. What not a lot of people know is, this used to be the R&D department of Felt Electrical. And Felt, which now sells ink cartridges mostly, was once a top dog in the turn-of-the-century cybernetics boom.
It looks old and weathered, with seagulls picking apart its stone and
That's not surprising. Only a vestigial ink cartridge and ferrotape manufacturer remains. They started out as a midway electronics outfit in Königstein 2 centuries ago. After an aggressive move, still, Tricentennial was beating them in business machines. But Feld had an ace up their sleeve. It was here in Martinez, possibly in this very building, that they developed prototypes for... I do have some money, yes, but that's not what's really important here.
No, I mean, come on. You need the money. If it's not a thing, he can give you some.
Oh no, I don't have it on me, officer. I was talking in more general terms. I'm just spending time with my kid here, showing him around the lesser-known parts of our hometown. It wouldn't be wise to...
Not that he would have to worry about being robbed. He looks surprisingly buff. Does he work out?
I do some Lomantang stick fighting now and then.
Lo Mantang stick fighting is a form of martial arts originating from the island.
Actually, a great many cultures have their own version of stick fighting, such as the sacred Mabolo tradition of the Harley people. The name deriving...
You doze off. as he paints you a comprehensive picture of the history of stick fighting among man. He's good at speaking. People must.
But anyway, I'm boring you with details again. You were saying? Then I guess everything got said, right? No, thanks to you for having me and little Mikhail here to pick your brain. A very interesting...
Pick your brain? If anything, this was rather one-sided. He did the talking. Whatever. The smell. It's awful and familiar. Don't you recognize it? That hideous pungency, that faintly cloying sweetness. Something cold wakes in the pit of your stomach. It is death. It must be. The lieutenant has already brought a handkerchief.
Eyes up, detective. Something's not right.
There's some tear, an empty cigarette package, and a crumpled kebab wrapper in the trash bin. 2 empty bottles of Tallulah vodka and a can of black potent... No, there's more in there. Livis strawberry liquor.
A tragedy.
Whoever tossed it here was a heavy... Red Astra is the black market version of Astra cigarettes. You see traces of mayonnaise and ketchup on it, as well as a tomato wedge. It's no older than a day or two. No mold yet. It's hard to concentrate in the smell. The sea air brings some relief. A man lies on the boardwalk, his limbs bent and neck turned at an unnatural angle. Right next to him is an empty bottle. The smell is not as bad as a 2-week-old corpse, but it's definitely headed.
Hold on. Lividity is faintly pronounced. Whoever this is has been dead for 2 days. No longer. We need to investigate.
Calm now. Carefully. Just another day. Just another dead body. Breathe. He's wearing mud-caked boots, beige trousers, and an old brown leather jacket with a bright blue lining. The leather jacket suits him well. It must be custom made. You find some sunflower seeds and a rain-soaked library card folded into two. His jacket feels sodden and heavy under.
Good. We should take a look at that library card after this is done.
The man has fallen through a crack in the boardwalk and hit his head against the metal bench. Coagulated blood covers his black hair. A bad fall. It might have been dark outside. When damp, these boards are really slippery. Even as sober, his expression is dull, like the sea behind him. Drops of water shining on his mustache. Height, 170 to 175 centimeters. Curly hair, stout build. Age, there's some dried blood on the metal bench, right where the corpse's head rests. The floorboards are rotten and slippery wet around the hole. An empty bottle lies nearby. A chewing. Be very, very careful where you step there. Grabowski spearmint chewing gum. Green leaves on the cover. The man's mouth is half agape from the terror of the blackness of death. Stench. You think you see white.
He ate the whole pack, right? It's to cover the smell of alcohol before going home. I've seen it before. Almost the same scenario. Even the chewing gum. It's always the same.
The entire boardwalk creaks in the wind.
Looks like one of the locals. He'd have to know this spot to come here. You don't just walk over here. But that's just a lazy assumption. What do you think? We do know that he was married. But you're right. Let's not run ahead. For now, all we know is that he's an unidentified middle-aged man found dead on the Martinez boardwalk. Death by misadventure. He slipped and fell through the boardwalk. A truly unfortunate accident. If it wouldn't have been for that bench, he'd be alive. No, I don't see anything that points in that direction. For now...
Agreed. If this somehow converges later, why not? But keep it simple for now.
Oh yes. Some symptoms of acute alcohol poisoning could have definitely played a role, but I think that death arrived through head trauma, not liver failure. What about it? The deceased ate some kebab. It's probably from a nearby place, maybe in the box.
Sometimes a kebab is just a kebab.
They'll seal this place off after the news reaches the coalition. Not that sealing it off would keep anyone away. All it does is keep the city council's hand. It does seem to be a pretty straightforward misadventure. From where I stand, I can see two options. We either take the case and follow the leads to identify the body on our own, or we report back to the station and leave this for our colleagues to handle. A field autopsy isn't necessary if the cause of death doesn't appear to be criminal. And this, I'd say we should just write down head trauma in the autopsy report and leave it at that. It would save us at least 2 hours of unnecessary work. Good call. The guys at processing can take care of the rest. Alright, we should first examine the library card you found. Then we can call the station from my...
The library card is folded into two and still slightly wet to the touch. The front side reads, Central Jamrock Public Library. Billy is a unisex name. Could be the deceased or his family member. Whoever owns this card is an avid reader. You find a list of books written in blue pencil. Radio thriller. Stand a little less between me. Most of these titles seem to be in the sci-fi genre. Some thrillers too. If lost, please return the card to the library. Dial 005 02 552.
Good. We should give them a call from my kinema. See if we can learn anything about Billy.
Good idea. There was plenty of information.
Our tenant, the policeman. I hope the waves don't keep you up at night. What can I help you with? I can wash it for you, but it's going to take about a half an hour. Think you can stay put for that long?
I could use a breather. It's been another track and field day.
Well, hand it over then, and I'll see what I can do. Must say, I'm proud of this one. It's pretty nice underneath all that filth. I hope you'll have an easier life in your hands. Lillian should let her sword make her decisions. The girl just doesn't have the head for it. Either way, I won't sigh. I've seen it all before. You think they've got our interests at heart? Rich men are always selling poor men promises they never planned to keep. Then the poor get pushed out of their homes and the rich get a little richer. That's the way it goes. So, no.
In her mind, the Union is right-wing because Everard is fat. It's that simple, and there's no change in it. She is headstrong, but there's a slight hesitation in there. You may be able to convince her. It's really in her best interest to listen to you. You know how the world works.
I've heard that pitch before plenty. Building this, building that, new jobs, new blood. Somehow the people here always end up holding the short end of the stick. Were you dropped on the head as a kid? You can't live off a pittance for long. Do you know who takes the cream off these deals? Real estate developers. Construction have some integrity. You're an officer of the law, not some fat
It's okay. She's emotional right now. Keep at it. Wear her out.
Aye, the sea's gonna calm down soon. I can feel it. The wind is turning southeast. What's on your mind, officer?
Yes?
You take the legal documents out of the envelope. A 12 to 40 month construction period and the zoning plan in the addendum. Underneath. You take the legal documents out of the envelope. A 12 to 40 month construction period and the zoning plan in the addendum. Underneath all this, with a confident flourish, you complete your forgery. What do you see? Indeed, to be honest, it does look very convincing. The calligraphy is close, but it's not, and the document will be nullified if she disputes it. That means Everard will have to start over. All you need to do now is mail the signatures to Everard's accountant in La Delta. The dented yellow mailbox greets you with its graffito, bullet holes and...
Yes, for sending mail.
You drop the white envelope in the darkness. It lands with a soft thud on what sounds like a couple of letters. About a week's worth of mail as collected in there. Probably did the right thing. You can't trust that slug, Everard. You know he's going to play you somehow.
All right, let's go back to Everard. If we don't mention anything to him, he won't know before it's too late.